Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's deck profile for you, we're working on Hybrid, Blue Hybrid. In fact, now that we have Tommy back to 4 copies after being limited to 1 for so long, is this deck still viable? Even with a powerhouse like Tommy, can it still contend with modern decks? I kind of just threw stuff against the wall. I took ideas from other content creators on this because this is a very, very old strategy. We're taking in a lot of the new stuff as well, and then combining it with this old strategy and some more modern techs as well. And this is kind of what I came up with. Also, don't forget to check out our Etsy page, link in the description below, has all of our memory markers that we've ever featured on the channel before, except for a few that have been discontinued, of course, and a lot of new Digimon merch that we've been putting up here recently, so go check it out if you haven't been there in a while. We've been updating it with a lot of new stuff. Alright, so as always, I've got the deck pulled up for you guys. Now I do have 2 cards down here at the bottom here that is more just like super tech, and it's not like overly necessary. We were at 48 cards in the deck and everything felt pretty solid. So the last couple are just some extras that we'll go over when we get there. But as the core of it, it looks very familiar from what we remember before. A lot of our tamers haven't really changed for the Blue Hybrid sort of strategy, right? Where we are doing some trashing of some sources and things like that. So we've got some good synergies here with a lot of cards. So let's go ahead and do this card by card. We've got the new Bukamon here. So inheritable, your turn, while your opponent has a Digimon with equal or more Digivolution cards than this Digimon gains jamming. So has no Digimon with equal or more Digivolution cards. So it's kind of awkward, right? So it's basically like if they have something that has less, if they all have less than this Digimon's Digivolution sources, is another way to kind of think about the wording on that. So, if you promote up a rookie and they have just a Digimon with no sources, then you'll get the jamming. So essentially that's what that means. And to combo with it, this is the card actually intended for it. And I think this is going to be potentially a big new staple. This duo here almost beats out jamming Vmon combo. Okay, so start of your main phase, choose 1 Digivolution card under one of your opponent's Digimon and trash it. This Digimon can't be blocked for the turn. So now he's an unblockable rookie that potentially has jamming online. So these two combo in fantastically together here. So jamming 1K unblockable just sounds incredible. Also, it just says choose 1 Digivolution card. So by judging by the text here, you should be able to remove any card that you so choose out of a stack. So if they got 5 inheritables, you just pick the one that you want to trash. It doesn't say the bottom or top or anything. It just says choose 1. So it seems super, super strong. Inheritable here of opponent's turn. When this Digimon would be deleted, you may play 1 Gomamon from under this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. Basically, this Gomamon just gets to play himself right back out when the Digimon gets deleted. So if you swing with this guy, he survives. A pretty legit tactic would be to Evo on top of him, and then that's going to be fantastic because when that Digimon dies during the opponent's turn, they're going to swing over it. He's just going to pop right back out, ready to be unblockable again the next turn. So just feels so strong of a card moving forward for a lot of blue decks. So I went ahead and maxed out on him. He just seems really solid. Classic Strabimon, this is your 3 play cost. Searcher, reveal 3, add 1 hybrid and 1 blue tamer off of it. Next we have the Vmon here, which is kind of similar. It's a 3 play cost, on play, reveal 3, add 1 V card with Digimon in the name and 1 blue tamer. So very similar there. And then inheritable here of your turn once per turn. When you play a blue tamer, gain 1 memory. So another really solid inheritable here. If you do so choose to go to Evo on top of this rookie as well, you'll get a pretty solid inheritable out of it. We've got plenty of blue tamers for him to hit off of, and the mega of choice, as you can see here, is we went with Ulforce for the mega rather than the, the Mirage Galgamon. So a little bit different choice there on megas, and I'm really liking the synergy with this one. It should make sense as is, but we'll get to it in a little bit. And then of course for our last rookie here, we've got the Bokomon from BT7, just a classic. In most hybrid decks like to work him in. Just the on play reveal 5, and you can add a hybrid or 10 warriors in its trait and a tamer. So, you get one of each, which is, again, a huge portion of this deck. And then also you have that awesome turn of your turn once per turn when one of your tamers digivolves gain 2. So most of your hybrids become free evos on top of your rookies, or on top of your tamers. So pretty solid. Big fan of him. It's just... We only want 2 of him. We don't need to go too crazy on him because he is often a card that just you play him and he just sits there. You don't like to overuse or like overcommit too many Bokomons or anything like that. So I just left him at a 2 of. If you want to get rid of our tech cards and bump him up to a 4 of or something like that, go for it. I just think 2 is plenty for what we're doing here. Next, we got the Kumamon here, pretty classic. He's a hybrid, and then when digivolving, trash 1 Digivolution card from on the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. Again, we're doing lots of trashing here, and we're actually getting a lot of great effects because of trashing, so big, like, kudos to that. Really here for it. Kumamon is probably one of the better targets to digivolve on top of your rookies here to bring these inheritables and stuff like that online. Just a 4,000 DP. Now we got Korikakumon. I am so happy to have Korikakumon back. This is probably the card that kind of makes Tommy a little bit busted. So he can evo for 2 here, 1 on top of level 4, 3 on top of a rookie, or you can digivolve him on top of a tamer for 2. So plenty to choose from there on evos. When digivolving, if a card with hybrid in its trait or Tommy is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack or block until the end of their next turn. Again, we're really synergizing with stuff like Gomamon as Kumamons. We're trashing a lot of sources, and then we can now stun them with Korikakumon even more reliably. So, yeah, I think we've got some fantastic synergies going on with this deck, especially with the rookies. We didn't, like, Gomamon is a new tech in this, and it just, it synergizes so well with so much of what we're doing here. It's just awesome. And then just rounding it out here, I went with 3 Lana instead of the Kuma here. This is just mostly personal preference. I think the trashing of sources is really relevant to what we're trying to do, especially when we get to like the Zudomon Ace and stuff like that. But this one is when digivolving by placing a blue level 3 Digimon card from your hand as the bottom Digivolution card of one of your blue Digimon. This Digimon gains jamming for the turn. That's just always a really nice effect, as well as we can add in another Gomamon underneath. So could you imagine having 2 Gomamons and popping them both out when the Lanamon dies? Like, that seems really nutty. But also Lanamon really combos great with Beowulf, because Beowulf likes to bounce its own sources to hand to bounce targets to bounce the opponent's Digimon to a hand as well. So Lanamon just getting you more inheritables for Beowulf is really solid. But before we get to Beowulf, I got Zudomon here. This is the new level 5 ace out of the next set. 4 play cost here, or 3 evo on top of level 4. It has hand, counter, blast, digivolve. If you're not familiar with how the blast stuff works, your Digimon may digivolve into this card without paying the cost. Counter. Counter is basically at the same exact time that you would use something like blocker. Your opponent attacks, they resolve all their effects, but before the attack goes through, you get to decide if you want to counter. And counter is just you digivolve this guy onto a level 4 or level 3, level 4 for free. So really strong. You get a Digivolve for free during your opponent's turn, and then on play or when Digivolving, trash 2 Digivolution cards from under your opponent's Digimon. Then return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards to the hand. So with all these trashing effects we're doing, the Gomamon, the Kumamon, we're doing tons and tons of trashing here. The Tommies as well. opponent's going to have a lot of stuff without sources by the time we're done. And so this Zudamon free Evo could literally be bouncing potentially a Mega back to hand. So that's just really, really awesome effect there. Now, also with the Ace cards is they have that Overflow -3. When this card is sent from the battle area or under your card to other places, lose 3 memory. To other places, doesn't matter where it goes. If it gets sourced underneath or into the security, or it goes to hand or deck, then you lose the 3 memory. However, if it goes underneath a tamer, it is not leaving the battle area, and it actually doesn't. You don't lose the memory as long as it stays underneath that tamer. Now, if it goes somewhere else after the tamer, then yes, you will have to eventually pay for it wherever it goes. So just keep that in mind. It says when this card, not this Digimon, a lot of effects say when this Digimon, this is specifically this individual card. So even if you Digivolve on top of him and say you trash the source and he goes, you're going to lose that memory. Okay, it doesn't matter at what point. Ace is very powerful, but it is very punishing. I like the level 5s personally because it basically adds up to 7 memory, 4 and the 3. And that's typically the play cost of a lot of level 5s anyway, with some pretty solid effects. Like, I wouldn't mind playing 7 costs for this almost, just about. If I knew I could bounce like a Mega to hand, trash 2, and then bounce something, that's not bad. But in conjunction that I could potentially Evo for free and then pay 3 later on when he leaves, like, I'm pretty okay with that. I like the level 5s, the Aces for them. And then back to the Beowulf, which we were talking about earlier, the classic level 5 from BT7 here, really strong effects. So 3 Evo cost on top of level 4s. However, if you Evo on top of a Digimon that has a Tamer in the Digivolution cards, you reduce the Digivolution cost by 2. So he becomes a 1 Evo cost. And then that when attacking, you may return 1 card of Hybrid and its trait from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to your hand to return 1 of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to its owner's hands. Trash all the Digivolution cards of that Digimon. So again, you use Lanamon to put... You do specifically need to make it a hybrid. So your Strabimon here, you slide that Strabimon in with the Lanamon, and then you have 2 targets for Beowulf, basically 2 when attacking effects that you could get off, not immediately, because, well, it's not once per turn, but you have to attack. You have to find a way to attack twice, or just on the following turn attack a second time, stuff like that. But the Lanamon is just very flexible. You can do the Vmon or the Gomamon for those effects, or if you want to use the Lanamon to help prep for a Beowulfmon, then maybe you want to go Strabimon. Just, you got to just play the match as it is, and just whatever works out best. For the Mega here, I did go with the All-Force, that when Digivolving, you may play 1 blue Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. Your turn, when you play a blue Tamer card, unsuspend this Digimon. Your turn, once per turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, return 1 of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon to its owner's hands. For every blue Tamer you have in play, add 1 to the max level of this Digimon you can choose with this effect. Normally 4 Evo cost feels pretty steep. The Mirage, of course, he can lower it because if the opponent, you add a card to your opponent's hand, and then for every 4 you gain memory, so you can essentially make him a lot more manageable. With the Mental Training card here, I think that this feels really good. This got fantastic board control as well as multiple attacks. So big combo play here is go Lanamon, throw something underneath, whatever, it doesn't matter, and then go Beowulf here. So you've got that jamming. You can swing with the Beowulf, bounce something to hand to bounce 1 of your opponent's Digimon to hand, hit with that jamming, then go into All-Force here. All-Force uses his when Digivolving to play a Tamer. He unsuspends himself, so then he can swing again there. Just really, really good synergy there, as well as another bounce off of that. Just the synergies here with these cards just feels really strong. I'm really, really liking it. Of course, we still got the Tommy here, just a super, super strong card. On play, trash 3 from the bottom of 1 of your opponent's Digimon. When attacking once per turn until the end of your opponent's next turn, 1 of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack or block. So again, really comboing great with that. All these trashing effects. We have so many trashing of sources effects here. Really, really good. Davis is just a really good memory setter for this because we're getting that search off, just on that on play dig, and then we now have a memory setter that's also a tamer, so it synergizes with all of our stuff. Still rocking the Sora and Joe. I did think about maybe changing these guys out, updating them, but it's still that it just keeps coming back to me. This your turn when one of your blue Digimon attacks by suspending this tamer trash up to 2 bottom Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. Like, that effect still feels really good with what we're trying to do here, especially like with the Zudomon Ace. If I can go like Gomamon effect, trash 1, swing, Sora and Joe, trash 2, then I can go Zudomon, trash an additional 2. That's trashing 5 sources now. And then that Zudomon gets to bounce something. So if we trash 5 sources on like a Mega, you know, I mean, you got level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. That's only 4 sources. You can go level 6. That's 5 sources now, right? So now we're bouncing level 7s to hand. Assuming there's not like X antibodies and things like that. Zudomon can be extremely powerful with all these effects here. So the synergy feels really good. Next, we've got the Full Moon Meteor Impact. I'm a big fan of having 2 removal. If your deck doesn't naturally have really good, like, big problematic threat removal cards or strategies that it can, you know, input, then throwing in 2 option cards on the higher end that can help you out with that situation. I'm always a fan of adding those in. Full Moon is basically Blue's new answer for it. It's basically replace Kikaitis Breath in general blue decks, return one of your opponent's Digimon to the hand, then gain 1 memory for every 4 cards in your opponent's hand. So it's almost instantly, pretty much 9 times out of 10, already just as good as Kikaitis Breath, and then in the mid and late game, it can be better than Kikaitis Breath. So that's why we've all pretty much switched to that one. Of course, we have the new Mental Training card that comes out this set. Main, reveal 2. You can add a blue card among them to your hand. Blue card, it can be Tamer, it can be Digimon, it can be Option. I love the flexibility of this over something like Blue Memory Boost, which is only a Digimon. This being either or, especially in a hybrid deck, having that flexibility is so crucial. And then that delay reduced the Digivolution cost by 2. That's just a really, really solid effect. I mean, essentially you're gaining 2 memory. Same with the memory boost, but this is specifically for Digivolution, which is 9 times out of 10 what you use Blue Memory Boost for anyways. So this just feels like a straight up upgrade, cheaper. I get to add a tamer if I so need. Yeah. Really, really like the mental training. That is the core of the deck. Now I do have a couple air quotes techs here. There's always good old classic Death Xmon, the spice, you know, what everyone says apparently. If you can't figure out what to throw in your deck and you got a couple extra slots, throw in a Death X. I mean, they're not wrong. That is a thing. But also, I think on a more serious note, a really interesting one would be the Sorai here. This is a pretty popular card to counter stuff like Royal Knights, because for play cost, trash the top 4 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. Great synergy with a lot of what we're doing here. Until the end of your opponent's turn, your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack. So, not only is this a fantastic counter to Royal Knights, because if they ever come out with that big board full of stuff, you can just keep stunning them with the Sorai here. If you have them, you can keep playing them so they just can't keep not being able to attack. As well as, I really like the Sorai for D-Brigade. D-Brigade is going to be pretty popular again with the new Digipolice support that it's got for the deck. So all those Commandramons that are going to be out there flooding the board, then this will be a great one. Also a great one to have get hit in security against those types of decks. As well as just that trash 4 and then stun something, and then it's got no sources, and then you're setting yourself up for a Zudomon play. Oh man, it's just that there's some really good interactions there with those two. So if you're just looking for a solid interaction, you don't want to be the guy that plays Death X, or you can't afford a Death X, Sorai might be your go-to to put into this deck. And that's going to do it. If you guys have any suggestions or questions, please put it in the comment section below. I'll try to get all you guys as soon as I can.